Welcome everybody to another episode of Push to Talk. I'm here with a bunch of random ass motherfuckers, and this is demonetized straight away because that is a motherfucker right at the intro.
I'm so random. Quack.
Yeah, it was even out of context, mate.
Yeah. Come on,
That's
get some
fair enough.
context on it.
I mean, serious question. Are we ever actually... Do we ever actually manage to monetize this show at all?
Nope, I don't think so. I think it's a complete impossibility.
You joke about that, Dirk, but I mean, the real question is, have we ever actually checked to see if our whole joke about getting demonetized is actually happening?
I assume somebody has checked. But that's a very good question.
Like, I don't think we've ever really truthfully checked it.
Like, Cloud, seriously, don't fix it.
No, leave it.
What?
He hasn't even noticed.
Hold on. No.
Oh, apparently there's some echo in the audio.
Oh, fucking fantastic. It wasn't there literally when we started.
He has already tried to fix echo in his audio once today, so, you know, we'll see how that goes.
That should be fixed now. Yeah, there we go.
Well, yeah. It's very fitting that that mistake is there because it will give us a great opening for the segue into that topic.
What, the topic of audio
echo
issues?
Oh, no, please, God, no.
No, we're not going to talk
Don't
about
segue
echoes.
This into echo. It's good.
If we say Christ. Echoes on this stream, I'm pretty sure that we're going to lose. What was it? 100 of our viewers almost instantly.
Well, we lost about 60 people within 20 seconds.
I just want to point out that I told you that would happen, and I told you it multiple times, and you still did it.
Oh,
so
yeah, of course, it was an experiment.
I think what Caleb wants to say is, let's talk about the initiative.
Yes, let's talk about the initiatives.
I'm fairly certain that has been there for the longest of time. In actual fact, that actually ended up becoming a meme on this channel. So yeah, it's just coming back around. It's fine.
Also, to the people in Twitch chat saying that they want to see Fountain Frank or whatever, you know, Brisk is always welcome to bring Fountain Frank and Wilsk as well along if he really wants. He's always going to do is jump in the Discord chat.
That would be epic.
Hold on, who's Wilsk?
We prefer Wilsk and not Fountain Frank.
Wilsk is Brisk's redneck cousin.
Yeah, and he fits this room a lot better.
I mean, yeah.
Are you trying to say that we're rednecks in some way, shape, or form?
Well, yes, but we don't have any pictures, Brisk, so we can't say that for certain.
Well, we can't be rednecks because we're not in Murka land.
Also, yes, I am now having a conversation with Brisk in Twitch chat.
So has Brisk got another alter ego?
Oh yeah,
No.
That's standing in the shower right now.
Hey, there's no alter egos here.
Oh, sorry,
these are fully fledged other people.
Oh, I love Brisk.
Well, it's simply something that happens if you get too close to the Mittani. You will end up being inspired to do the whole LARPing thing. And seriously, Brian/Brisk has actually been completely damaged. He is full-fledged LARPing by now.
He works in US politics. He was damaged before he even touched being online.
Beyond damage.
But now he's doing clothing and dress up and at least top up, maybe not.
Not his legs. He's
There we
gotta get
go.
those pins
We got
out.
a
Those
picture.
pins have got to be on show.
We can confirm Brisk is in the shower.
I am glad that one of you guys is actually in the in Brisk's OnlyFans, that we can actually get these exclusive pictures.
Yeah.
I would subscribe to that.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
haven't already?
Wait, he does it? Oh my god, you're going to need to give me the link to this.
Unfortunately, it's in staff only right now.
Damn.
I have that strange feeling that is where it's going to stay.
Yeah, those moments where you think, where you were about to suggest, we could show that on stream, and then you think,
I mean,
okay, would we get
we could,
would
but
we
then
get
again,
copyright struck?
But then, I mean, what's the point of paying for an OnlyFans account if we're just going to share what the OnlyFans account, what we get out of it? What's the point?
I do have a question though. Brisk, how shrinkled are you if we push up
Excuse me?
over our usual 60 minutes?
Where are you going with that?
he just said he watches Push to Talk in the shower. Now, we like to run over the usual 1 hour quite a bit. So, maybe don't watch the entire show in the shower.
Well, I would like to defend.
fingers and feet, not any other point. Okay.
I would just like to defend Brisk here because
Oh my
Brisk has
God.
actually explained that he takes very long showers and he likes to actually be there for quite a while. I can follow him on that, and I also like my showers very long. So
well, yes,
yes,
but-
they take about an hour.
There's a more serious question that has to be asked there. In that, do the two of you shower top down or bottom up?
Oh God, not this again!
This is not that show, dude.
Top down?
We don't do this type of poll over here. Here we do polls like.
It wasn't a
where can we-
poll. It was a specific question for
this
you
is just
and
a
Brett.
rehash. This is just a rehash of of a conversation that happened on Theta Thursday.
Okay, if you are showering as long as
And
Brisk
don't
and I
really-
apparently does, right? Then you're doing top down and bottom up quite a few times, right? Because what else are you going to do for 45 minutes? And don't answer that.
Dirk, I'll have you know,
Oh Jesus!
I actually now shower side to side.
Really?
Yes.
Controversial.
Do you add a shimmy and a shake in there as well, sir?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have one of those fancy showers with side shower things?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love one of those
I do
things.
I do bottom to top, but I do it sort of while standing upside down, so it's okay.
I think it's fine to do
I
the
do almost drown
interchanging
myself,
between being sub and top. I think that's valid. This is also why our kind of poll in Push to Talk would more be: are you on OnlyFans or are you on FedLife?
I don't think we want to hear the answer to that question from you.
Of course we do.
No,
Otherwise,
we
we can't find people.
Okay, so should we actually talk about something that's...
Well, this is a great segue back to the topic of initiative culture, because the reason that the initiative members have not been able to find Brisk Rubel's account is because he's on OnlyFans and not on FedLife.
I don't even know where to go on that one.
yeah,
Mic drop.
I'm only quiet because I'm still trying to find it.
yeah. Well done for killing that conversation there, Caleb.
It's a feature.
If you say so.
That's why he's on this show, to murder topics.
No, but seriously, I think it was funny because I was battling Willy over on the other show, and apparently Willy was puzzled about the whole initiative thing and the SOTA from Sister Bliss, and apparently people over there can't read. They thought it was some mystery letter written in some Paleo Hebrew or something.
Hey, reading is hard, all right?
If Billy actually was slightly confused by Sister Bliss's like open letter, then that's just gonna make Bliss even happier about it.
Yeah. But
I mean,
it wasn't even
we have a link.
Matrol was confused by it too. We were talking with him in Discord, and he couldn't get his head around it either.
Dude, Matrol will be confused about a lot of things. Like,
Well, to be fair, and in his defense, the initial paragraph from Bliss is a little bit
so-
internal language, shall we say?
while we're talking
Yeah.
about this, can somebody like find a link so that we can at least share with Twitch chat what's going on here?
Well, I
Can I
definitely
just
can,
clarify
but
something
I'm not
quick?
going to use that link. If we find it on Reddit, then definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. Caleb, are you sure it's internal language to Init or just English, not American English?
I mean,
Because I
Canadian.
understand those guys being a bit confused.
Well, it's because it suffers from the same problem as many other pieces of writing from Imperium or Imperium-esque people. It is a bit internal language, the first paragraph. It's like, what is he trying to say? And he's basically saying, this is where we are now.
the biggest issue I'm finding with people, especially in that conversation with like Matrol and that, though, they seem to want to tear it apart and take each individual aspect as an individual aspect. Whereas you need to look at the entire thing and link each of them together, and it makes perfect sense. Absolutely perfect sense what we're doing. But you do you.
Caleb, I don't even want to click that paste bin. I so have a feeling what this is, but I can't.
An ASCII
know.
paste bin.
Well, the point is that Sister Bliss
Oh
can
my god,
actually
it's,
write.
it's
right?
a real
This
paste
is-
bin.
This
It's
is
real.
something that people that actually read some of his stuff before know that he can actually write. It's quite entertaining. It flows very well. I think Dirk would say, yeah, it's one of those that hardly needs any editorial work.
Bliss is amazing at writing this stuff. When I joined in it, looking at all of the stuff, and he always has a pretty good heading as well. It always follows into what he's going to say, but I simply can't understand where the confusion comes from. To be
Well,
honest.
it gets worse, right? Because
someone
one
give
thing
me a
is
link.
It's the
Okay.
paste bin in Twitch chat.
Facebooking.
Oh,
Yes,
That's
it's
actually
not
legit.
It's not a meme paste bin for once.
Well, and the point is that after the first paragraph, which is basically just Bliss prose and server language, you have to kind of know how they speak. Okay, this is my Point Break joke, and it's kind of falling on deaf ears. Anyways, the point is the next part that they also had a problem with, which I've personally almost predicted, and I was discussing this with Matt personally way earlier when the actual retreat happened, and I said, you can't pull Init into Delve and expect them to stay there. You can't. They're just like sharks. They need to move forward to actually survive. If they have to sit still for too long, they're gonna completely shrivel and die.
Oh, it don't always get antsy though. Like that's just a fact of life within it. Yeah, they end up getting bored and going to do something.
Yeah, and that's why they started doing the whole thing, flipping back the entirety of fountains. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, and I mean, there should actually have been, there was actually posted this morning a pretty decent article. Oh fuck, that's the wrong thing.
Oh, the
Give me
wrong-
2 seconds. There we go. That's the right link there. Which is an article based on an interview with an Init FC called La Loca Fappuccino.
Fappy's brilliant.
I actually love Fabby. He's fucking awesome.
Fappy is
Yeah.
just
He basically talks about how all this went and how, you know, they saw the opportunity. And to be fair, there's actually a little bit of, you know, okay, so this went better than we'd even expected because we had to go round asking if anybody else had any iHubs that we could drop. So, you know, definitely not. Definitely not.
Hey, Dirk.
A prepared situation.
At least the coalition backs them up when they're asking for iHubs, unlike certain legacy member alliances who got told to fuck off by test.
Hey! No, they receive value. Okay.
No,
God,
sorry.
not that.
I'm talking about something you might not even know.
To be fair, I'm honestly not sure what you're talking about. I've been basically off grid for the past week on holiday.
Okay.
But,
I'll DM you it.
I honestly couldn't believe I got that meme out of Billy on Discord. Literally couldn't believe that he actually replied with "they receive value" just from a Mittani troll.
I know you should not point out to people that you did that. That's just going to make people not engage with you. You have to.
It's fine. It's fine.
You've just burned your
really
fucking
weird.
spy.
I genuinely thought that like someone was contacting Billy like in a like a private message with that, because when that happened, I was literally I was there kind of going like, I know it's going to be a topic of conversation like on talking stations, and I was there kind of going, I don't want it to just be, someone said, and the Mittani said. I kind of wanted it to be like, here's evidence that that Billy actually said it, kind of thing. And so I was in the Twitch chat just kind of going, can I get a screenshot of like Billy actually saying it? And then I didn't even realize that like it was happening just in an open public forum on TIS. It's like, what the fuck?
Public Discord, completely public Discord. Someone, I just basically said, I can't believe that Billy is treating blah, blah, blah like this. And then someone else asked him a question. And then I basically repeated what Mitten said, and bam, there it was. It was, I just couldn't believe it.
And again, back to the whole initiative thing.
In defense of the other side, and this is, I know this is like, I shouldn't do this, but like, fuck it, I am, right? We all have people who we trust, and we all have people who we don't, right? And like I've said on TIS that, in previous engagements, I've been given, a dread from test, with, for no money, for no kind of deposit or anything like that,
so they have
to some degree they can be trusted, yes, but like when you're talking about the amount of money that the Tranquility Trade Tower actually generates, like, I mean, that's got to be tempting for almost anybody to sort of be like, especially when you don't really need to give your side a kind of like a sort of like, a bulleted sort of an itemized kind of account of like where all that money's going.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
all that money. Can we just agree that yes, it's of course a little bit meaningful numbers, but on those scales, it's fucking beer money.
Yeah, it's definitely a little more pocket change, a little less kind of, I'm gonna go buy a mansion, but it is still something, and especially in conflicts like this, and especially with some of the changes that are coming up, like the quantum cores, which, as we all know, are just fucking rental security deposits.
Yeah.
When people like Brave have already said, this is going to be difficult for us, we are going to have to look at consolidating a little bit further. The fact that they're then being told, okay, you receive value from your TTC money. I mean, I do want to point out real quick that any money that the Imperium gets from the TTC, it does come back to GSF, but then that gets spread out across all of the alliances in the coalition. So, they can decide how they want to spend their share of that. So it's one of those things where, do you want to spend it on a dread bomb? Sure, spend it on a dread bomb. If you want to use it to fund your SRP, fund your SRP. Like, do what you want with it.
In a weird way, Villy kind of said, I think it was either Villy said this or it was Dunk said this on behalf of kind of Villy or whatever. But like, he basically said, like, if you start dividing up the share to all the different legacy, alliances, then you end up essentially diluting the capacity of that large store of money to be able to do something with it. Because everyone's going to spend like a small amount on certain things. and you don't get like a big bit of, you don't get a sizable capital to be able to like do something with.
Just
But
to put
my
this
kind
in
of-
proportions. Can I just put this in
the thing
proportions,
is,
right?
the thing is that I'm just going to say this, like, but the thing is, even if you're doing that, you can still show you're fucking working. You can still be transparent and be like, this is how much came out. This is how much we spent for this, that, and the other. You guys can all see this, and you guys all experienced or kind of like you all got value for it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
in seeing all these dread bomb caches or all of this, that, and the other. But it's just taken as like, oh, we trust him. It's fine. We trust him. We don't need itemized billing.
Can I just put this in perspective? What amount of money we're talking about? The amount that is generated, the amount that is generated by TTT at the moment, right? If you took that number and then you took the number of wealth that was just dropped in Imperium hands from one former Imperium member alone, that would equivalent to 6 to 12 months of TTT money.
Yeah.
I'm just going to point out here, Whippler just confirmed it's paying for all of the SRP for all of the blue doomsdays he's doing. So it's
no, because Whippler's blue doomsdays don't get reimbursed.
I'm clear on something, right? If we're talking about legacy receiving value by, I don't know, what was it he said? He said something along the lines of it being used for the supers and titans so that they can kind of SRP the rest of the coalition at times if they really need to. Does that mean his statement from before the war of they can SRP 100 supers or titans isn't just 100 supers and titans for test, but for the entirety of legacy?
But the whole thing of discussing this in value and who pockets what amount of money in these groups, it's just a fundamental difference between how Pappy groups and those outside of the Imperium run things and how the Imperium run things, right? It's also why I really could not understand. I'm pretty sure that when I told him that the members of the Imperium, and especially old goons, are not just wealthy, they're wealthy with a willingness to actually to sacrifice their wealth and give it to the actual organization.
Yeah.
It sounded to me as if he didn't understand the concept. And then, of course, two rich goons came around and actually threw about almost 5 to 6 trillion in the face of the whole project. It's like, well, that's going to be normal. This is going to be something you're going to see more of, because there's a lot of people with a lot of wealth. Minna and whatnot and Aerith are not the only ones with wealth. Of course, they're among the more wealthy people in Eve.
Just to react to Brave Boys real quick, apparently we're all talking about TTT, but we have no idea how many thousands of Titans or Supers are being moved to our doorstep in Delve right now. Dude, of course we know how many Supers and Titans are coming. You really think we have no idea what's coming for us? Jesus. Why do you think? I just...
2 points on the Villy thing, by the way. The comeback saying that they can't spread the money throughout the coalition because it wouldn't be enough to actually do anything of impact, then maybe try not blowing half of Eve so that money doesn't have to go as far. And secondly, I mean, it's about trust, yeah? If you can't trust the figurehead of that coalition who essentially doles out the money, then what do you have? Because there's another instance of this now with the Polygon interview where basically...
please,
not that interview, God.
Where he's basically trying to say that he got fired, but then Asher came out with pretty much all of the logs of that interview, and that didn't actually happen. So if Villy's if they are receiving value from Villy, and there's no logs of it, then how can you trust that you're actually receiving the correct value?
Please, test is bad, all right, but they aren't Polygon level bad.
Well, I mean, I just want to say as well, right? We had the Polygon article that dropped a little while ago, and then what was it? Was it earlier today, or was it the day? Was it yesterday? Maybe there was an article from Game Rant, which basically seemed to take the Polygon interview, try and condense it down even further, and just managed to make it even worse.
I'm pretty sure Game Rent is owned by the same company
I mean,
as Polygon.
So just regurgitating content.
Yeah.
Lovely. But yeah, like, does Villy have any paper trail for all of this money? Any at all? Because from what I've seen, he doesn't.
Does it matter though, Anu? Because at the end of the day, as I said, if what we're really talking about is they're using that to fund basically coalition level Titan and Super SRP, what happens when they run
Are
out?
they though? Because the problem is you've got to lose all of those things in order to get SRP. I could say right now that my personal account is basically funding all of Goon SRP for their supers. I've got to wait until they lose those supers before my word is being counted on.
Yeah. But I mean, if they hit that and they hit we have enough to SRP 100 supers and Titans, and let's say that actually applies to the coalition, seeming as what's being implied by his comments lately.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when they go over 100? Who do you think gets SRP'd first?
Test.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they SRP the rest in the coalition before their own.
There's no chance. But that's the thing. That's where I was talking about trust. It's a two-way thing, and I gotta be honest. Eve isn't a game that you should trust very many people in.
Okay, so McLeod has fixed the lack of various letters in his nameplate. And is now part of Sept. It's initiated. It's that some
It's actually better now.
We're now a Russian role-playing alliance.
Oh, it's Russian. There I was thinking that you tried to bastardize some sort of Latin or
I don't know. I was just fucking about it. Kind of when you were pronouncing it, it sounded quite Russian. So I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you actually managed that. Like, well done.
Managed what?
Managed pronouncing that.
Oh, if I can just clarify my previous comment, by the way, you can definitely always trust Fountain Frank. Always.
Oh, yeah.
Fountain Frank is the pinnacle of accuracy.
Bastion of honesty.
No. The bastion of honesty. Fountain Frank is the pinnacle of honesty.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Sorry. Only the Bastion is the Bastion of honesty.
Also, I love it. I love that image that has just been dropped into Twitch chat by Gamers Gaming via Bardghost. I do particularly appreciate the Erebus that apparently can't lance in the right direction.
I mean,
then again, this does just remind me of when we were in Tribute last year. It was Tribute last year now.
when we were doomsaying a keepstar and people missed the fucking keepstar.
Well, yes, when we lanced the keepstar and almost managed to lance an entire battleship fleet of our own out of existence.
Okay,
in the opposite direction.
Guys, do you actually remember? Do you guys actually remember the last few stories we had about Imperium Titan pilots? Because I remember there was something in one of the bigger fights where it's like floating completely off target, right? And I also remember someone kind of being lost and jumping like 12, 14 times or something like that. So it's not like it's impossible that it's just another Imperium Titan member.
I mean, hey, it could always be an Init dude.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
We did see Init in, was it D4K? When they did the lance and a Jackdaw fleet basically walked straight through it.
We just want kill mails.
I mean, in KVN when we were saving that, what was it, that jump bridge with all the fucking lances. Yeah, that situation, like, I landed in that Jackdaw fleet. That Jackdaw fleet was being, I think that Jackdaw fleet, like, there was an Init Jackdaw fleet, I think, that only just, no, it wasn't a Jackdaw fleet, it was a Munin fleet, because it was being FC'd by Sister Bliss, and he came in, and he didn't have effects on, so he didn't see them when he flew in, and we just missed it.
To be
Mhm.
fair, that is the worst when you accidentally turn effects off and then suddenly there's a doomsday somewhere, which, as it happens, before the war, it would not be unusual for there to be a random Titan doomsdaying on a gate in Delve as a fleet goes through.
I mean, we still have it now, Dirk.
Well, this
Right.
is true, but it's...
Yeah, that cormorant fleet a couple of days ago. That's still happening.
And just on a personal account, right? I've tried Jintan weed, right? And if you are on something like edibles and trying to do lancing, I'm sure that it must be really fucking difficult.
Everything you learned about flying Titans, you learned from boats. Arya,
Okay.
I have one question to do with that.
Oh, God.
And that is, where is our Asakai?
Yes, I thank you for saying that, Dirk, because I was about to ask the same. Arya is
learned
going
to
to
fly
fly
Titans-
Titans.
Yeah, exactly. If you learn to fly Titans from boat, go and do something boat-worthy.
Thing is,
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't think that'll happen anymore, though, Dirk, because Pappy are just they won't fight on an unreinforced node, which is absolutely hilarious because that's all I saw after the fight earlier of, it was an unreinforced node. And it was like, well, if you refuse to fight on unreinforced nodes all the time, then...
You know the hilarious thing about that
Win.
is... it's not an unreinforced node that favors the Imperium. It's not an unreinforced node that favors Pappy. It's an unreinforced node that doesn't favor anybody. It gives the same chances of whether you win or lose to both sides, because we have fucking tie-dye, which effectively ensures that that's the case.
Just a small correction here, Bart Ghost, because I know we've crunched the numbers about how long this war is going to take them, but now we seem to need to add the variable that they always need to be 3-1, and they won't fight on non-reinforced nodes. So I think somewhere around 2025, maybe they're going to be done.
Maybe.
Jesus, we'll have all grown up
then-
and retired by
But
that.
then we also have to factor in the fleets like last night, where they form up and decide, oh no, we got a busy week of move-ups. We don't want to wear everyone out for the move-up.
Is this the procrastination forces?
Basically, it is genuinely any excuse.
Procrastination and prevarication initiative. Wait, no, I can't use the word initiative there, because that's going to confuse some people.
No, it's
The procrastination and prevarication invective.
Well, it works. They already have the acronym, so it's fine. Oh, in other news and related to that topic, right? I have just been pointed towards the OASA numbers, right? And we were talking about we need an actual OASA time unit, because the Delve time unit is currently tanking like crazy, but the OASA time unit would be interesting. That's something that we can actually start using for the whole talk show coverage of the war. How many OASA time units does it take to replace the current level of fighting? I think it's something like 12 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Probably. Thing is that in ISK or actual assets, Caleb?
It almost
Same
sounds
thing.
like a setup to a joke. How many OASA time units does it take to
Replace a Titan fleet?
Replace the procrastination destruction numbers?
gain value?
To get tests to not stand down for some bogus made-up reason.
Oh man, apparently the current Talking in Stations show is going kind of crazy. I'm not sure what the hell is going on, but apparently Matterall has just suggested that move-ups are a one-time thing.
You have one move up, and that is it.
What?
I'm so confused.
Is this a new Fuzzy feature?
I don't know, but if
You're only allowed one move up per week.
Yeah, you're only allowed one move up per week, and if you're in the wrong time zone, then sucks to be you, I guess, maybe.
Well, no, then you got to wait till next week for the
or
timed.
if you have a life outside of Eve in any way, shape, or form, you're fucked.
What's the next step up of fatigued? Emaciated?
But you'll be able to buy a reset in the New Eden store.
No, you've got fatigued and then you've got exhausted. Because emaciated is a physical thing. So, like, for example, if they lost all of their Titans and Supers, their fleet power would be completely emaciated.
True. We're doing etymology and words today.
Apparently, yes.
I mean,
Well,
that's
it's
your...
because we were inspired by a recent. I don't know what to call that. What would you call this, Doug? Richmond was actually using INN Discord almost as if it was some sort of FidoNet mail system where you had to actually send the mail in full clear text to everyone. It was very weird.
To be fair, I just thought I'd weigh in on that. I was actually in the car coming back from my holiday. Coming back from where I'd been away on holiday at that point, and yeah, I basically got a message saying, "Hey, so Richmond is having fun has had fun in our Discord." So I just wanted to,
I just don't know if he doesn't understand the concept of personal messages, because he does this a lot. Like, everything he needs to say to someone is said in public. It's like, do you not have social skills, dude?
But there's a reason for that, right? He's pushing this idea of himself, and if it's done in private, then people don't think of him a certain way.
Yeah, and then just to correct his use of auspicious, it's actually similar to using an 8-ball. It's basically the future looks good. That's the exact understanding.
I think this is what I was saying. Was he using the kind of more traditional bit of, okay, so having looked at the auspices, the outlook is good, is positive,
Yeah. I hope he didn't actually sacrifice some animal.
Well, actually, no. Auspicious doesn't necessarily have to mean positive. It just means that things were done according to the auspices.
Yeah, with the implied that it's going to have a positive outcome, as opposed to the opposite, which is suspicious, right? Which is subspecs. So outlook not good. Anyways, that's the etymology lesson for today. Now we're going to see if we can get some shooting of blues. Hello, Wibbler.
Good evening.
Way. Also, Wibbler, Jesus, I'm not sure if that was me or if you just generally need to be turned down a little bit on McLeod's end, because you were quite loud for me.
Nope. You're at 100%, so
Okay.
I think it's just a case of mic swallowing.
I fixed it. That's fine. How are you, Wibbler?
That's Corona ass, so I'm still on sick leave, which is fun.
Yes, yeah.
Glad you got through it, man.
You kind of hit the long COVID aspect, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't actually hit the sick leave part until like late August. I was like straggling through the mess for the longest time. But we have a war on, so might as well just use the time.
Hey, especially if you're getting paid for it, yeah.
Yeah, one of the nice things about living in a socialist hellhole is that you get paid.
Wow.
No.
Damn. Evil socialism.
That just brings me like screaming back to like a conversation that happened in a particular politics channel.
Last night?
Yeah, last night, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I don't want to relive that one.
No.
It's just horrible.
No.
But seriously, Wibbler, your country is only a hellhole if you're coming in with foreign money.
Oh, that's a good point.
Wait, okay, so does that mean that the UK is a socialist hellhole, given the influx of Russian and Chinese and everywhere else's money?
Yeah, but that's billionaire money. I'm
that's
talking about
basically
if you're a
everybody's.
normal tourist and you go to Norway, you're a little bit fucked, right? Because your money is not worth shit. So everything, just a cup of coffee, croissant, anything like that is just going to completely bankrupt you. Anyone that complains about Icelandic prices have never been to Norway.
I mean, as far as I know, like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Wibbler, but like the prices of alcohol over there, it's pretty insane.
Well,
yeah,
I think
they are very, very everything is expensive in Norway, but tobacco and alcohol, yeah.
bonkers.
I could
Vegas
Like
is
10
cheap.
quids for a pack of cigarettes. It's like, what?
How much?
10 quids.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, what size are we talking for that?
Like I Dirk would be more shocked at the alcohol prices because we do in the UK actually like tax cigarettes pretty high.
That's because the UK runs on alcohol. You're a little bit like mini Russia in that regard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we couldn't.
It
we-
silences the pain.
Like we do actually have minimum pricing on alcohol in the UK, and even still, our alcohol is not that expensive.
What were we talking about? Actually, smokers are actually like a net beneficiary to the UK health system.
Yeah, it kills off all the arseholes.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. We were talking about it in work the other day. It's insane. They actually pay more into the NHS than they use. It's nuts.
Way more, and it's true for most countries in the EU right now.
I don't think it's got to the point yet where, like, you have doctors prescribing people with cigarettes. Like,
There you go. You can smoke a little bit.
It would be the way to raise their salaries, right?
I think that's when the feedback circle becomes very much of a negative thing.
Our salaries are not too bad.
Right. To restart the economy, we just start telling people that they've got to do their patriotic duty and buy a pack.
Oh, speaking of COVID, I don't know if this is highly relevant, but it's kind of funny. We're going to be reaching 100% tested within the next 1 to 2 months.
Operation Moonshot, wonderful.
It's possible that we could
the
get to
entire
100%
country.
tested. It's possible that we could
100%.
get. I mean, it's possible that the UK can get to 100% tested, but the only issue there is the tests wouldn't have actually been run through to see whether they've actually got COVID or not.
Cloud. No. There is a very simple way to reach 100% testing.
It's
Only
like
test
99% die.
No, it's only test people who you are certain are infected.
Oh, Jesus, not this again.
No. Dirk, to reach 100% of the population tested, you just kill 99%.
So anyone outside of Whitehall, basically.
Have you been tested? Yes. Have you been tested? No. Have you been tested? Yeah. Really? Yeah, I'm fairly certain I have, but I want to be like the guy next to me.
I mean,
That's
somebody shoved something somewhere. I don't know if it was a COVID test, but it hurt.
It could have been an initiative meetup.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's what that prick was.
Also, there was something in Twitch chat that Elisip in Twitch chat suggesting that they always assumed that Caleb was British. I mean, really? With that accent?
The
It's not
accent.
that obvious.
I think this is the usual.
Is very.
I mean, do you know how many countries I have been placed in by people?
I think it's the typical European kind of like you're European, so I'm just going to say that you're from like whatever country springs into my mind first.
Are you French?
No. Soft's from Belgium, right?
No, he's
Wow, triggering.
I'm sure he's a Hollandish.
Hollander?
A Hollandish?
A Hollander? A Colander?
Is he a Hollandish or a Hollandaise?
Like, if you're a Hollandish, what do you order for dessert? A Danish?
No. You start the meal with the Danish.
Obviously, yeah.
No, you have the Danish when you go home later.
No.
You
I
finished
prefer, I prefer going first. I don't like sloppy seconds.
Oh, God.
Oh, Caleb, apparently you're now Swedish because of your hair.
Well, Sweden is just another of our colonies. Please.
I mean, you're getting closer.
I mean, we are getting closer. Somebody got very close and still missed it.
Well, everyone seems to know the Scandinavian countries, Sweden and Norway, but they don't know the important one, which is Denmark, that used to fucking own those countries.
Yeah.
Look, okay, we're not allowed to rest on the laurels of our empires anymore, Caleb.
Well, there was
Says the Brit. Come on.
I think that was the joke there. Yeah, I think that was the joke there, Sol.
Yeah,
We used to have-
that's kind of our dynamic, you know. He makes a joke, and I ruin it.
He does like to ruin things.
Well, I
swear, that's how he gets off.
Well, I can get off on it in many ways. So
And
you know
there's
that.
also
No, no,
reasons
no,
why
no.
Soth isn't on camera as well.
I'm planning on saving the UK from Brexit. Didn't you hear? I'm going to do a small excursion to York,
Yeah,
talk to
I
the
have heard
Archbishop,
about this.
and actually get him
God.
to crown me king, because that method has been proven and it works.
I'll be perfectly honest, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
I'm going to retake the entire Danelaw. So if you live in London or more
Do it.
south, and you're fucked.
Well,
I
I think my family history sort of actually goes up towards sort of like the Scotland kind of area. So like probably, yeah, I'll be down for that.
Yes,
I
this
want
is
to
the
make
thing,
a
right?
joke
Like,
regarding Sharp Eyes comment, but I'm hesitant on it.
Scotland leaves, I'm
Last
going,
time
yeah.
someone went to Salisbury for tourism didn't end.
Oh god. Oh god.
Caleb, are you also going to
Okay.
go to war with the Hansa?
I just want to point out, all right?
No, I
Bard,
don't want the Slavs.
surviving a little dose of nerve agent apparently isn't that hard.
Hey, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh god.
Oh,
But yes,
I'm
like-
sorry, I had to.
But yeah, to be fair, when Scotland decides that they're seceding, I am going to take I'm going to make very good use of my dual citizenship.
Oh, I'm moving, definitely. As soon as that happens, I'm gone.
I hear Norway is recruiting.
I mean, what does it
to be
take to
To
do
be
that?
completely honest, like the only nuclear deterrent the UK actually has is based in Scotland. So
Yep. Yep.
You see why my plan is so good, right? I want Scotland to be included in the Nordic Union, right? This way, the Scandinavian countries and the Nordic countries are suddenly a nuclear power. It's brilliant.
Which then gives you backing to stroll into York and demand to be
Exactly.
No.
There's method to the madness.
Whoa, Bud. In these situations, you never demand. What you do
I mean,
is you impress upon these individuals the benefits that they gain from not opposing your
okay.
coronation.
Well,
And
it's-
if those benefits include not dying, that's fine.
But it's easy.
Mhm.
It's an archbishop. I'm already skilled in his field. I will be perfectly capable of convincing him that he should crown me.
I mean, there's
When
one
did
part
this-
of Archbishop.
I like this. Novation Games in Twitch chat. When did this become a CK3 talk show?
Basically,
oddly enough, you know, I've been hearing people saying like, oh, you know, I bought CK3, etc., etc. I've had like Discord sort of been a Discord Nitro kind of thing for a little while. I completely didn't realize, but like ended up actually getting 3 months of Xbox Game Pass, and it's got fucking CK3.
oh god, I need to get that done.
And
Also-
guys,
I might
guys,
play that.
I'm just mentally prepping for AC Valhalla. That's pretty much what's going on here.
Yes.
This is going to be a lot of fun. But I do want to like pivot back to Eve for a second.
Yes.
Oh, do we have to?
and ask
we kind of
Brisk.
do.
I just want to ask Brisk, because Brisk has just popped up in Twitch chat saying that he just watched the SOTA that Villy and Progod did a little bit earlier today.
Oh, was it today?
And
Hey,
he's
Brisk's
more than
in
just
here.
in Twitch.
Hey. Hello, Brisk. What was the worst part? No, sorry. Let me
Yeah, we haven't
rephrase
watched
that.
it.
What was your favorite part of that speech?
I think my favorite part of the speech was this whole thing, like, we're gonna be immortalized, not only in EVE Online history, but in video game history. Because you did what? Because you blew up some. I mean, this whole thing, and we'll go into it on the meta show, but I just have to giggle about it. It's just like, you guys could have easily picked victory conditions that were reachable. We're going to take Delve. We're going to blow up one DQ. We're going to glass fountain. We're going to do something like that. That's achievable. But what they chose to pick is the complete destruction of the Imperium and their removal from EVE Online as a game. That is impossible.
Yeah.
Even if
Just
they
a quick
wanted
question.
a
I just,
wishy-washy set of goals, right? They could have went, we're going to do as much damage as we feasibly can do.
just a quick
the
question there,
SOTA was
Brisk.
linked
Like,
further up in Twitch chat.
so just a quick question
there
there,
it is.
Brisk. Like, who was it who actually said it though? Like, was it Progod or was it Villy?
Literally, Villy gave the soda, and I linked it in the chat. Villy gave like this set speech that I think he probably wrote pieces down because it sounded like he was trying to be the kind of charismatic speech maker that Mittens and I are, but he doesn't have it. And then literally all the Wriggle Man said at the end was, fuck, we got a lot of moving to do today.
I mean,
Oh, right. So it was actually Villy. Fucking Christ.
Because the thing is,
Can I defend Villy for a second? Just for a second. It's going to be very fast, but because the whole campaign does actually remind me of what he's trying to achieve.
Christ.
The whole Alexander the Great thing, where it's just completely rampant moving around with no fucking goal or objective except fights.
So the reason why I asked what I asked there, Brisk, is it's funny because it's always been Progod who's been kind of like touting that kind of like rhetoric, the kind of like, you know, ridiculous goals that aren't achievable. Like the probably the most classic case that's like, you know, most sort of pinned on him is Nulli Secunda, right? Like the whole aim of that group was, you know, and Progod said it himself, it was the extermination of Goonswarm Federation. It flat out fucking failed.
I mean, where is Nully right now?
Exactly, right?
Where's the entire?
I don't want to be spending all of my meta show stuff because we're going to talk about this.
No, that's understandable.
We're going to go through the Polygon article and everything. But I mean, to be honest, it's like, guys, come up with an original fucking reason for wanting to go to war. I mean, every single group from Bob on that has gone to war against Goons or CFC or the Imperium or whatever we were at the time, they've always used this, they're bad for the game, we must destroy them. Stupid casus belli that doesn't ever hold up. And it's impossible to win. Like, how, can you say, did they win the casino war? Well, we're still here and we're stronger than we were before, so I'd say no.
Did that make them famous? No.
They set up wars they can't win.
Exactly.
The funny part there as well is that if they just turn around and said, hey, look, this non-invasion pact isn't really working for us anymore because we don't know who to fight anymore, we probably would have turned around and been like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Sure, we can respect that you're not sure who else to fight anymore. Let's get into it. And that would have been fine. Like, yeah, we're all looking for good fights that we don't have to travel fucking forever for, right? So come at us, please.
All they needed to do is say, our goal is to prove that Fortress Delve is not impregnable and that the Goons can be attacked. And if they said something that simple, they could have already declared victory and left because they've proven that they can do that.
I think
but they can't. But they set up these impossible to hit victory conditions, and then I mean, how? Unless all of us decide to biomass all of our accounts and never play EVE again, they cannot win the war. on
You're
their
saying
own
I shouldn't.
stated goals.
You're saying I shouldn't biomass my characters?
Don't do that. That'd be
Oh,
bad.
fuck.
I think at the beginning of the war, though, like PGL was kind of the hawk trying to push the entire thing, and Villy kind of got dragged behind him. But then Villy did this 180 because if you remember when the whole thing came out before the attack happened, Villy was like, no, it's not happening. And you'd speak to a couple of directors in test as well. Exactly the same thing. Nope, we're not going to attack. You're fine. Then it twisted to, maybe. Then it twisted to, yeah, we will. And as these things progressed as well, Villy's kind of attitude towards it changed. And that's when he dropped the whole, we're going to wipe Goon Swarm out and stop them playing the game. So I'm not sure if he got caught up in his own hype or PGL's hype, but it's just impossible to achieve, right? It's just...
It's the dumbest like victory condition that you
It was
could
a bad,
ever make
bad idea.
in this game.
Yeah. And
Now here's something that I think is pretty interesting. Like I made my joke about we're going to be immortalized, but I'll be honest. I've been watching and talking to Villy for a long time. We've had him on the Meta Show a bunch of times. I work with him every day on the CSM. And the one thing that I think I have gleaned from him as a person, as a character in the game, and I'm not talking about the person behind Villy, but I'm talking about Villy like the character. He is desperate to have a prominent place in EVE history. I think the fact that their coalition is called Legacy is a perfect example of that. That's what they want. They want to go down as we were the greatest group ever. I was the greatest war leader ever. I was the greatest I took down the biggest, baddest people, and that it's all this personal like glorification type stuff that I feel is what he's doing this for. And I think, it's hard. It's hard to motivate people to want to fight and do these long battles and do the moves and do the war and everything like that when the goal is your own personal aggrandizement and nothing for them.
And I think some of their allies are starting to sort of feel a little bit like that, because like hearing some of the sort of conversations and stuff, regarding like pandemic horde and that kind of thing, like sort of like that. It's apparent in some of the some of the articles. I think one of the articles on INN, right, that it's a case of you're being a little bit egotistical here, like calm the fuck down, because it's starting to sound a little bit desperate.
It's also a complete mismanagement of expectations, right? The things that are waiting for Pappy forces when this clash actually starts happening is so outside of what he's been telling his people. They're going to be completely shocked, right?
Yeah. I mean, with Villy, though, he got, what was he? He got not close to the top, but he was up there in Goons before he saw kind of the reverence that the Mittani got. And I think that's what he's trying to emulate. But in order to try and emulate that, now he's basically aiming at Mittens, which... with a completely irrelevant war target. It's just, it boggles my mind. I don't understand the setup behind this entire thing. It just doesn't make any sense.
I get the idea. He's trying to replicate the Goons of Old takedown Bob.
Yeah, but in order to do that, like back in those days as well, like Bob always, you'd have Somali who would come out with a paragraph or two on CAOD. It would basically be a very brief thing with a very, very simple target. Villy's put way too much on his back in order to meet that target. And when this is all over, said and done, like they're not going to have met what they set out to do.
And it's the complete historical straw man that he's building to drive the forces, right?
Yeah,
it's just not real. At least that's how I feel. And again, I know that I trigger everyone when I say that EVE history is Goon history, but it is the most interesting narrative to follow throughout EVE history. This is just a proven and objective fact.
I mean,
yeah, definitely. Like, I'm a beta vet, all the rest of it. 2003, I played the game before Goons was here. The whole CASA war, Bob getting involved in everything. Bob getting Tech 2 blueprints, all that stuff. Goons are around then, actually. But Yeah, I think since Goons came, like, don't get me wrong, anyone who knows me historically or whatever, back in the days, I hated Goons. Remedial, that era of Goons, I wanted nothing but to kill them. I'm now in Goons, and literally, it's the best coalition I've ever been part of. Like,
you say that. I did the same thing, and I specifically kind of put off playing Eve for a couple of years because I was trying to focus on some of the stuff that I was doing school-wise. But I started playing Eve, and I was on the other side, especially in the casino war. It's actually relatively recent that I've come to Goonswarm, in that I've only been here for 4 years. And okay, now I say that, and right, that doesn't seem that recent, but
just what I keep trying to explain this to people, right?
It's definitely,
If you played long enough, you will potentially end up in Goons because of the culture that has been nurtured and created in there. If you have skill sets, if you know about this game, you are way better off moving to that group because it has proper meritocracy.
Yeah.
You will actually be pulled up and be put to work in anything that you're good at, and especially if you have some real life skills and not just Eve skills, because that's the nature of the beast. This is why they're so different from any other group, because the other group
flip side of that as well, Caleb, just to say real quick on the topic of meritocracy, and if you have real life skills, you will progress in Goons because we will recognize that. I just want to point out that at the same time, Goonswarm is a fantastic situation, and I can't speak for the other alliances because I've not been in them, but Goonswarm itself is a fantastic place for you to actually be able to develop real life skills while playing Eve. Like, I will talk about this for hours if people want to actually listen on this, but you're talking about Corps Diplomatique. I joined CD 3.5 years ago, somewhere around there. And I've actually had the chance to talk to a lot of people and to develop a lot of skills just through that. Document writing, because we write up all our own treaties and things. We do that all internally, and we make sure that it says what we want to do. And, the just simple, actually, polite conversational skills that work on that level. There is a hell of a lot that you can learn to do in real life through an Eve organization.
Yeah, definitely.
And the I think the thing that some people don't really quite get as well when it comes to Imperium is I mean, you'd be able to correct me if I'm wrong here, Caleb, but it's a true meritocracy. It's not one of those meritocracies where you get to a certain position and then you just stay there regardless of whether you actually work at it or not, or whether you just go AFK for forever. Like, if you go AFK, you're going to slip down the ranks, especially in places that have
perhaps somebody may have done and then left after they did.
Yeah, especially OPSEC related sectors of the Imperium, right? If you're just idling in OPSEC kind of related channels and you're not playing the game, you're not participating or contributing, you'll get moved out of those channels because it's a working group, right? It's those things are working set channels, and for whatever reason, it seems as though some people who come back and don't seem get kind of confused or annoyed that they don't have the prior levels of access. It's not a trust thing. It's purely the fact that these particular groups, especially OPSEC groups, are working groups, and they require stuff to be moved and people to be moved out that are AFK.
And let's not kid ourselves. Imperium has not always been good at these things, right?
No.
They've been failing upwards and learning how to do this stuff. This is why they are what they are today. But I think the important thing is, I think many people assume that there's not a next step, but there is. There's at least one or two more steps that can be done, like getting rid of the what I would call laddism or the hazing stuff and the internalization. Some of these things can definitely be flipped on its head, and then you're going to see an Imperium that's even stronger, right? Because right now this is very similar to, even though we've had this Hadrian-like citizenship revolution, it's still not at a point where people from the outside will look at it as a beneficial empire. But that could change very fast if a few very simple moves were made, right? With the whole, call it the brand. So the Gurgoon thing can go away once and for all, because it's getting so anachronistic and stupid that I'm getting so bored of it. This is why I'm hoping that at some point we can do a proper show series and actually do the Goon history, so we can maybe share some of the actual stuff. So some of the people that have only played for 2 or 3 years can actually get a little bit of a history lessons.
I just want to break in real quick. I just want to break in real quick and say thank you to Talking in Stations for rating us with nearly 150 viewers. Thank you very much.
Damn,
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
I think if you look at Goons now, though, in this day and age, compared to the Goons of, say, 5 years ago, even longer than that, like the whole laddish thing, the whole like 4chan and all the rest of it, it's a completely different entity today.
Yeah.
Like it's just nowhere near the same.
Well, I mean, it's not even necessarily the 4chan thing, because you've got to remember 4chan spawned from SA, which is where Goons came from initially, and so it's that bit where, you know,
Jesus.
The lines diverge so much.
Yeah.
Now, you know, WAFA used to be the key organization in everything that Goonswarm did. Nowadays, you know, you're looking at our directorate, and not to say anything, not to try and direct anything here, but a lot. You know, we're talking about probably 50% of the directorate, if not more, in the Imperium now comes from groups like Karma Fleet or other corporations. You know, there's at least 2 directors within. Actually, no, I'm going to say this properly. Every single director of CD currently has a Goonwaf character, but their primary corporations are elsewhere. You've got Minion Revolution, you've got Les Chevaliers, and you've got 4S. Although actually, Ralos may be in 4S now. But this is my point. It's, you know, we were talking earlier about the meritocracy aspect. It's not a Goonwaf club anymore.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's one of the reasons why they changed how they changed, right?
Yeah. Well, they needed to, though, didn't they? Like all the hate that they were getting, and yeah, they needed to change, and they changed.
Okay, so to respond real quick to Parv F1, DJ isn't in charge.
I'm fairly certain that was a comment made in jest. But yeah,
I just wanted to
DJ's
laugh
not
at it. That was it. That was my entire reaction. Was just excuse me.
Oh fuck!
Didn't he come back to the game a couple of years ago and go, "What?
Yes,
what
and
is
then
this?"
tried to
he came back
resurrect
to the
Goonfleet.
game. Tried to resurrect Greenfleet, didn't really happen. I think he ended up joining, like throwing his group into Mercenary Coalition. I think at one point. I think that's how it went down, or something like that. And then he was in. He had charge of a keep star, which he was moving, and then he failed at that. And we, as initiative, came and blew up the freighter that just tried to scoop it.
The good guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do miss DJ's
That was
sense
comical.
of comedy. Seriously.
Oh, and a wild Mike
funny as
Flood appears. Mike, happy birthday!
I don't think he can talk.
He needs to be unsuppressed.
We have
Done.
to.
Birthday, that stupid thing Dean started. God damn it.
Mike, I will hold my hands up. I think that was that was my fault a little bit. In the, you know, that happened, and I did congratulate you on becoming an almost adult.
Almost.
Almost, yeah.
So for those who aren't aware, Mike Flood has recently made it into the the auspicious ranks of Goonswarm Ops FCs.
Would that
Is
make
it-
him
is
the
he- are you-
youngest Ops FC?
Mike,
No,
are you
I
over
think
9,000?
I think Jay still holds that title.
Mikey,
but-
are you now over
Okay.
9,000 hours old?
Well, my character. I don't know if my actually. Let me check. Let's check.
Mike, I think you should do the math on
Mental
How
gymnastics on
long
what
you
9,000 hours is.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, no,
this is such a great example of how to occupy or activate an Imperium member. You get him to do some math or spreadsheet stuff, and he will just go and do it instantly because it's just it's instinctual.
No. I was checking like my actual Eve hours, like how many hours I've spent on Eve. That's what I was
Definitely
checking.
not 9,000.
Yeah, no, it's 7,200, something like that. Actually, 7,300 hours. And
Yeah, I've got to
You don't
say,
even want to know mine.
there used to be an app actually. Was it Eve Droid or something? It was one of those Android apps
Droid,
that did
yeah,
it.
And
Yeah.
there used to be a website that would do your yearly statistics.
And it'll track how long you've been logged in, how long you've played on any specific character. And
Can I just-
unfortunately, Eve Droid died a little while ago, but before it died, a couple of years back, I'd already broken, like, I think
Just-
it was 10
just
or
to give you a
11,000 hours in
Doug,
3 years.
I really
Doug, just to
wouldn't.
give you a perspective, I had between 4 and 6 hours average daily playtime, and I still do.
Well, yes, but that's because you're an addict, Caleb.
Yeah, I want us to do Eve Anonymous. We should have a group that for people that actually manage to go on
I think we
breaks
need it.
and
What, sorry, what? Caleb, did you not realize that was what we were doing here?
well, then I'm just failing miserably. Hi, my name is Caleb.
This
Oh,
channel
dear.
right here, this is our anonymous meeting.
Oof.
I mean, the issue there is we're not anonymous. But aside from that small,
Because I want the
Small
buttons.
issue.
I want the 1 month clean button. That would be awesome.
I think we need to start in minutes. Let's start low first and then work our way up.
I mean,
Can you go 10 minutes without looking at Discord about Eve stuff?
Can
Nope.
someone ask Apple to look in co-op when I last logged in? Because if I log in
That's
to
not
look,
that's cheating. That's cheating.
That's
You have
basically,
broken
yes.
internet. That does not count. That's not willpower.
Thanks
That's
for reminding
circumstance.
you know, someone than an addict when they're saying like, look how long I've been, off drugs or off this, that, and the other, right? Like, I know
I
I
am
know I can
90
make 2
days
weeks.
sober,
I know
damn
I
it.
can make 2 weeks. If I wanted to, I
wait,
could.
Bartgos can look.
I mean, I'm currently playing right now, so
No, Bard Ghost, you are not to look. Sothsil is to be tormented by this information.
I'll look and I'll laugh and not tell him
Well,
and maybe
seriously,
tease him about it.
it's very reminiscent of Reykjavik at FanFest, right? On day 5, you go, "Oh, I've been clean for 24 hours. I've not done any coke." That's because there's none left in the entirety of Iceland now. Did they
logistics
run
of
out-
doing that in Iceland can be quite funny.
Well, but didn't they run out of weed one year? I seem to remember that it was almost impossible to get weed in Iceland in one of the FanFests.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I wasn't partaking back then, but but I seem to recall some friends of mine having to work quite hard at getting more stuff.
Yeah, they had to go home to their own personal stashes and their home growing stuff to even get a hold of anything smokable. It was funny as fuck.
God. So,
Yeah, but,
Soph,
Mhm.
you're not doing very well. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
How
when
Yeah,
are you gonna
I
get
actually-
that shit fixed?
I actually logged in the other day to to fix some booster channels. So yeah,
Interestingly enough, I've logged into Singularity more recently than I've logged into Tranquility.
So what about G4?
I'm not only bad at this whole not logging into Eve. I'm also bad at this whole relegating work to others.
Like,
But seriously, Soth, what about G4 coverage where you live? Because maybe we should just do a Kickstarter so we can get Soth back in the.
G4
I can get
coverage.
Well, I think
4G.
I think the issue with your delegation, Soth, is like the fact that you're, you could be forced to actually delegate something to someone who isn't German, and the accuracy
Might
and
not do it.
the efficiency may not like
that's exactly why I don't do it.
exactly right.
Okay, so
Germans in Goon Swarm.
I just want to react to Triple X Cheetah Triple X in Twitch chat, who has said that it's shocking because it's not Eve real Eve, it's Eve synth on Singularity. And I will say, the only reason that I've logged into Singularity more recently than Tranquility is A, because I've been on holiday, and B, because I'm a poor tournament addict.
Oh yeah, there's going to be tournament stuff happening.
Because I logged in on my phone tethering on Wednesday night so that I could get my guys the bookmarks for my team's arena, so that they could do a practice on Singularity without me.
I was going to say that level of that kind of logging into Eve almost seemed very the way an addict would do it, but like it was philanthropic, so I'll
Caleb,
give you a pass on that one.
Here's the real question though: when are we going to see another Soth result FCing a Ferox fleet from a Macarial?
As soon as we can get him some internet.
Yes, exactly. Caleb, to answer your question,
To be brutally honest here.
we
Sorry,
already talked before the show about how Germany is being shit at internet. That does include mobile internet.
Wow.
I can get LTE and that's it.
Why don't you come to a civilized country like mine and Wibblers?
So, hold on. I'm going to go back to the point.
I think
Can
I've
we
been
just
confused
not-
with Dirk McGurk in Twitch chat. Can somebody look at that and see if
Oh
I'm
my
reading that right?
God,
Okay, what now?
Like,
I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Hey! I get confused for cable Utah, and that's like 10 times worse.
Especially when all you do is fucking shout.
Seriously,
he
How-
is drunk Dirk. I am sober Dirk. We are two
how
different
can
Dirks.
how can you mix up Dirk 1 and Dirk 3? Come on.
Here's the thing. No, the thing is, when you're drunk, Dirk, you get my carriers killed.
No, you just fall asleep yourself, mate.
No, that.
I have never gotten a carrier of yours killed, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like Pisano, Dirk, like Pisano. What?
I would never do that to you, Mike.
Totally wasn't intentional.
No, I would never do that to you, Mike.
So are you guys okay? I'm seeing a pattern that might actually mean that the Imperium will fall, because if all the important guys are going to start doing tournament stuff, and a lot of the upper echelon leadership is going to go and play World of Darkness games come December, January, there's not going to be who's going to be left fighting.
I mean, that you haven't even thought about like the amount of people who are going to leave and play like something like Cyberpunk 2077,
and Valhalla and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Jesus
It's like
Christ.
Delve is going to be empty.
Yeah.
I mean, well, to be fair, there was a quote earlier on in the Twitch chat, and I'm not scrolling that far back to find it, but there was a quote apparently from ProGod where, or it may have been Villy, I don't even know who was saying things in that SOTA at this point, but somebody said something about how if nobody watches Netflix and nobody goes and plays other games, it will take the Blue Donut Coalition 3 or 4 months to burn through Delve. And I'm like, Caleb's here talking about how goons are going to be off playing other games. What's the other side going to be thinking at this point?
fight is going to go like pre-2000, like 2003, 2004 even. Like it'll be like two fleets of like 20 going against each other.
Maybe
That's old
what
numbers.
his plan was. Maybe that's what Villy was planning on was basically Cyberpunk and Shadowlands and all the rest of it, getting rid of goons.
Hello?
That's what he's doing. Oh no, that's no.
Hold
This,
on.
I was going to say something very salacious there.
No. McLeod, it all makes sense now. That is what he's counting on. That's why they just started up their solo PvP at SIG.
Oh no! I was going to say something much more salacious.
Oh, no. They started up with solo PvP at SIG and don't require PAPs from them.
Well, I'm only
It's even
half
worse
kidding.
than that. I was saying.
Seriously, guys, there's 5 World of Darkness games coming out. 5.
Oh,
If
Jesus.
anyone that knows the proclivities of Arendis and the Mittani knows that that's actually a crisis. These guys will actually be gone.
That's almost as bad as a new BattleTech game.
Caleb,
if
they
it
are
becomes...
fucking up all 5 of them, so we don't have to worry.
Villy's playing like 12D chess with this. God, I can see it now. It's all completely clear.
It's foggy as fuck, but it's all completely clear to me.
Releases over the next year, and he's basically going to kill goons that way. Jesus, he's Villy. I take.
I honestly thought that he was my salacious, ridiculous sort of like pie in the sky conspiracy theory was he's using the TTT money to make like multiple battle stations. Just so he can run like 20 fleets on his own.
McLeod, come on, he's not Sword Dragon.
No, he's not a Vuklau.
Oh, what?
Hey, Vuklau is back.
Yeah, I mean that's probably. I did want to sort of say something along the lines of that.
To be fair, so many people from the Casino War are back at this point. You know, we've seen Lenny pop up.
Yes, the Casino Boys are back.
Bank pop up. We've seen. Oh fuck! What was his name?
Well, Eve is not back.
I'm expecting. Is he? Is he?
I
not
don't
back?
think Eve is back. He's just
He
in the background. He never played.
You know
Eve
who
anyways.
isn't back though? You know who got refused?
Stunt.
Stunt got refused his.
I
amnesty.
find that
Right,
ridiculous.
That's
crazy.
Right. Okay. That's
Some
not
flowers
that
hanging fruit.
ridiculous. And
It's not that ridiculous when you have 2 devs gunning for you.
That was ridiculous.
No,
that situation.
Right. Stunt got banned. And okay, fair enough. There were questions about that, but Stunt has been just pushing things for years anyway. And B, Stunt is still allowed to play on other accounts. He's just not getting his original
that's true,
account
yeah.
back. That's it. It's not as if
I
he
guess
was
that's true.
IP banned or anything. So it kind of makes sense to me that Stunt would not get his original account back because he's already doing stuff on other accounts.
Rip GigX.
Yeah,
Gigax ain't coming in.
Well, the GigX is an interesting situation. I think GigX probably would get it if he put in for it. It's a question of does he want to put in for it.
They've made very specific that anyone that's made. Yeah,
I mean, I can pull up an infographic as to exactly why he's not getting in, like with underlying areas.
I believe
if Stunt doesn't get him banned, then GigX he's got no hope.
Yeah,
none.
Stunt gave a screenshot of his warning log, and I'm just there like that's the smaller warning log that's less. I don't know what to call it. Less abusive than what GigX has warnings for.
I'll be entirely fair enough. But the other thing as well.
So here we go. I've literally put it up on the show. Like bans for serious offences will continue to be upheld. The following actions remain expressly prohibited. Other serious malicious activities, included in the real life harassment and threats policy. Players that have been previously been permabanned for lesser infractions can appeal.
McLeod, just look above that. The first point is serious, targeted, and credible personal harassment and/or doxing.
Yeah, the
Because he did that too.
The question about whether or not it is credible is a different argument that I don't really want to get into, but I can see the other side to the argument of, was it serious? Yes. Was it targeted? Yes. Was it credible?
Well, to be fair,
a questionable situation.
We should maybe not cover this because later tonight there's going to be this show. I think it's called Between Two Lawyers, No, that's not it. It's called a meta show, and it's actually between two lawyers.
That's a fair point, but I mean, to be fair, there was one thing that was in the GM the GM communication that Stunt got that I am going to spend a couple of moments scrolling back through hundreds of messages to find real quick. In that, I did find it kind of interesting, and I will drop this link into Twitch chat there, and I'll also drop it into staff for people to look at what I'm talking about. But the particular interesting part of this is that the GM communication ends that they are forced to ask you to please accept this as their final decision on the subject.
Well, just to go a little bit legally,
Being
right?
forced to ask you is an interesting phrasing, in my opinion, and I'm curious as to where that goes internally.
Just to go a little bit
I
legally
don't know
on
if that
this,
is.
right? Because I think an important aspect of the whole threats and bullying and all that stuff, you cannot discuss this at all without bringing up something like victim confrontation. I think it must be something that is required to even discuss whether these people were doing credible threats, because it's very easy to misunderstand something or feel like you're being threatened when it's not a credible, back to the credibility term, right? A credible threat. And maybe it's not meant that way. I do see someone like GigX could potentially get some sort of forgiveness, but it requires some sort of confrontation with the people that are potentially the victims. It's not a CCP decision. It's the people that he's actually threatened.
Yeah, and with regards to the forced thing, I don't think that the forced is, okay, someone up in the higher echelons of CCP are forcing me to say this. It's more because of what he said previously, he is then forced to basically say you accept what he's about to say. I don't think it's anything to do with anyone being any GM being forced to do something they're not willing to.
No, I very much appreciate that kind of situation. I'm just, it is linguistically interesting.
Yeah,
it is all. I wanted to bring it up simply because I'm a linguistic fucking nerd. That's
really
a lot of what I do.
We covered this earlier.
Really?
So long.
So, you know,
no,
I had to bring it up. But I mean, to be fair, we are coming up on the 2 hour mark. So
well, we're coming up on about an hour, and we're at an hour and a half.
45.
So we started 10 minutes late, so it's like an hour and a half.
So yeah,
but it's okay. It's all good. But
I would like to, at this point, register that I'd like to do my one last thing kind of towards the end, so McLeod or Caleb can figure out how that works. But you know,
that's fine.
I'd like to have a few minutes.
We might as well. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Like we should probably start doing last things. So and you, like, as you're new, we do one last thing, which is basically anything that like you've been wanting to talk about and it hasn't been covered, or like you want to sort of like, you know, bring back up because you wanted to say something about a previous topic and it was just we'd moved on or something like that. Like now's your chance.
Reiterate whatever.
Now is your chance. Yeah, exactly.
I think I brought up what I wanted to talk about, the whole trust thing in Eve. I mean, it's always been a amazing aspect of Eve where, you know, someone you trust today is someone that backstabs you tomorrow. It's just the way that Eve has always worked. But I think the one thing I want to bring up again is how Eve really does teach you things that you can use in your day-to-day life. I was, 18 when I started playing Eve? Literally in the middle of Bumfuckistan. And basically, it taught me so much. It literally taught me so much. And I would never be where I am today if it wasn't for Eve.
Can I just ask real quick? And I don't want to like get too much into the real life aspect, but when you say you were literally in Bumfuckistan, does that mean that you were in one of the stands?
No, I was in a tiny little mining village in Wales that had seen absolutely no investment.
So you were in a place that was worse than the stands.
Literally fucking worse. I think the main activity in where I'm from was drug taking, and if it wasn't for Eve, I literally would have probably ended up on the streets taking drugs.
No one
Yeah,
asked him about sheep. No one asked him about sheep.
I'm fairly certain that Wales has not had the amount of capital injection from America than Afghanistan has had.
Yeah,
you know.
literally hasn't. It's insane.
Can I just ask, has Wales had a capital injection at all in the last decade?
I mean,
we get money, but yeah, like there's a whole political thing behind it where Wales has got a government of one persuasion, and it's not in our central government's interest to basically fund it so they can do everything they need to.
I was going to say purely from
Waleistan is a different place, and Caleb and I would have to go into historical details to deal with that. But
I mean, I was going to say that Wales has probably had like capital injection pretty much only from like the music and the film and TV industry, and that is it.
The biggest infrastructure builds in Wales has come from the European funding projects. Basically, that's where most of our funding has come from.
Gonna love that over the next 5 years.
Yeah, have some fun there.
They'll wave as they sail past.
Literally, I don't understand what the fuck happened there. To be fair, I just don't.
We got shafted, but let's not deal with that.
They'll take the money that was going to go there and like weave sails out of it, so they just like pass you by.
Yeah,
just waving like
get the fuck out.
Have you guys covered what Horde was saying the other night to their line members?
You can do that as your one last thing in a minute,
one last
Mike.
thing, yeah. Bard, what's your one last thing?
So
hang on.
Mike. We have
there's
a process
rules,
here,
Mike. There's rules.
We are polite to one another here, Mike. Bard has been invited to give his one last thing. We'll come to you next. Bard, your one last thing.
I mean, I just want to know when they're actually going to take a fight. Right? Like, they've had 2 opportunities the last 2 days. But no. You had our capitals tackled this morning, Billy. You had a dread bomb formed. And you sat there.
His balls haven't dropped yet, that's why.
No, he's been in the shower too long. They've shrunkled, as Sothel would say.
Shriveled! I said shriveled!
His balls shriveled. No, shriveled sounds like a serious medical condition. That might want to be checked out.
Hey, stop teasing. That's a very difficult word for a German.
What?
I mean, I
shriveled or shrinkled or shrunkled?
All of them. It's the same as with squirrel.
Squirrel?
I rest my
did
case.
that one fine.
Anyway, yeah, I just don't get what's going on. If they are legit about not wanting to take fights because the node isn't reinforced, then by default we're going to win most first round fights for keep stars and shit.
Well, I mean, they are attacking, so they choose the time and the place, so they logically have to ask CCP to have the node reinforced.
But
so just they don't actually want to fight.
But then
point.
Wibbler, that's the thing. They're attacking without the node reinforced because they're not expecting us to have a counter to them.
Well,
so we just take the fight and they bail from it, I guess, because node's not reinforced.
But as long as it's Pickles doing this, right? It's going to be tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
Sorry, who is this Piggles that you're
Wriggleman?
I thought it was
Lord
Mr.
Wriggles.
Wriggles, yes.
Lord Wriggles.
Listen, Doug. He's always been Piggles, and he will always be Piggles. Okay.
I mean, you call Caleb, you call him Wriggles, but he wasn't able to wriggle away from that kill mail that happened yesterday.
Well, it's because it's a feature. I explained this on TIS the other night, and I'm pretty sure that I'm right. If you look at the history of fights that's been happening in this war, he's doing some weird kind of kill mail whoring the other way around.
Look,
he's making sure that he's getting killed on every single fight, so he can go back and look at it in history.
No, whoa. Okay, so there's 2 things here. Firstly, he's sacrificing himself so that his fleet can run away. Okay. He knows that he's a target because he's a prominent figure. So he's sacrificing himself so his fleet can run away.
There's been a couple of fleets where he's run away first.
How else would Test be able to spend all of their TTC money without providing it to other alliances?
Value.
The value is
Not
that
this again.
the value is that Piggles is losing his ships so that they don't have to.
Which means that SRP doesn't get used?
Exactly.
Okay. So, Caleb, what is your final thing?
Oh, I have one that I really want the audience's attention on, because I already kind of hit on this last week, right? I'm just going to reiterate that when it comes to EVE history, and being one of the few that's actually been here since day one, and Nua has also been here almost as long, all of EVE history is the history of goons. That's what it's all about. And I hope that we can actually do a history show very soon and talk about goon history. I just have to find these weird freaks somewhere in their closets or wherever they live. And we're going to actually do it.
Basement.
They're the ones. They're the ones with the tiny stenographers, like on their back.
Yeah, they're hidden and they speak a strange language, and we might be able to find them by just pinging on the SA forums.
All right,
or something.
you speak many strange languages. I'm sure.
Yeah, I
you'll be
do,
able
but I'm not sure that their ancient Greek is up to snuff. But anyways, the point is that we've figured out that we want to do this at least in 2 sections, and I have already named them AM and PM. It's anti-Mittani and post-Mittani. So when you see the show, it's going to be the AM show and the PM show.
Brilliant.
Now, I appreciate the wordplay.
That's because you speak
Jesus
Latin.
Christ. Caleb, please.
It's
And I don't
brilliant.
speak Latin. I am not
I think you
fluent
do.
in Latin. Nobody speak. Well, actually, that's not strictly true. Nobody in
Are you saying
any modern country speaks Latin.
You're not one of the freaks that do the reconstruction thing on weekend?
I'm not one of the freaks who lives in the Vatican. That's for sure.
Right, that's a different type of freak, and I'm pretty sure that they do the Erasmus stuff, and it's not real Latin. So let's not kid ourselves.
Okay, moving on. Before we dig too far into it, Mike.
I watched. Sorry, yeah.
No,
Dirk,
if you were going to say something.
Okay, so the other night, Horde was, they got told to stand down. All their fucking Euros had stayed up. And so when they asked, they were told it's above your pay grade. And they literally just told all their Euros while they had a full, I think it was 400 more dudes in system. And they had they had even more dudes in their staging, in their like PTAXAD stager.
1,200 more dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. They had way more dudes formed up, and they bitch out over we didn't reinforce the node, which is, so I don't know if it was reinforced or not. They just kept bitching about it. And then PGL's fleet mutinied him by flagging a fleet exempt when he tried warping them in. That's why he warped them so low.
I'm sorry, what?
They collectively flagged exempt. Is that what you're saying, Mike?
I don't know. It kind of looked like it,
Can I ask? Well, okay, so it kind of looked like it. We're
like,
not actually making
either,
I just want to say, we're not actually making the claim that his fleet collectively mutinied and they all flagged exempt. But it just looked like it.
It's either.
I mean,
either
come
he
on,
flagged.
Derek,
It's either
right?
they all
We
flagged
gotta say it.
exempt. It's either they all flagged exempt, or Piggles with his exceptional history and length of time and just experience in being an FC.
I do just want to
somehow
clarify.
just didn't fleet warp himself.
Can I just clarify? They weren't jumping through a wormhole, were they, Mike?
No, they weren't this time.
Okay.
I just want to point out, guys, that this show is at least as researched as a Polygon article.
I mean, that's basically what my one last thing was going to be. Was just so you guys know, we don't research shit. We just shoot from the fucking hip.
Be bold.
And most of the time is just bullshit.
I'm going to be bold here and say we are more researched than a Polygon article.
Oh god.
I mean,
yeah.
that's possible.
That's a
It is
very
entirely
fucking
possible.
low bar.
Well, I will say
Exactly, it's not a high bar to cover.
Derek,
'Cause
we're
at
more
least-
researched and better formatted than the Game Rant article. That's for sure.
Because at least we're experienced
that's
in
not
what we're
difficult.
talking about. We may not have, like, looked into it deeply and all that kind of shit, but at least, like, when we talk about Eve, it's because we kind of have played Eve. Just saying.
Here's one more thing I want to bring up, though.
Okay.
Wasn't one of Billy's major points is that goons were the ones pushing Helldunk or blue balls? And then PGL last night goes, "Oh, we're not going to fight unless we obviously can win." That's Helldunk or blue balls right there.
Well, yeah,
know?
you need to bring up the current SOTA as well. He said in that SOTA that, we're not going to blue ball anymore, or maybe we will. Like, it was such a backpedal in the middle of that. I literally got whiplash.
Whipler just covered this. The balls are going to fall any day now. Any day they're going to drop.
No, the balls are going to not be shriveled anymore, Caleb. He's going to get treatment.
Oh, as for the invasion and dropping and all the rest of it, I think we need to remember that each of these groups, they have their individual supercap groups and stuff, but the advantage on the Imperium side is we can actually target one of them and focus most of their ships down, leaving them entire super capital fleets after this war is over. So they've got to have a lot of trust in one another that they will jump at the same time or take a gate at the same time, decloak at the same time. Like, there's a lot of trust that needs to go between these guys in order to jump their super caps.
There is.
But I just want to say that, like,
to this,
when it comes to how
honestly, there is one response to that point, and that response is the name of a system. That system is X-47.
Mm-hmm.
X-47 final timer. PanFam jumped in on a Sino about 50 kilometers behind the rest of their fleets. Where's the trust? That there was no trust then. Why should people believe that here we are, a year or so later, that there's going to be trust now?
Just to be
I also want to point out.
Sorry, McLeod, I'm going to jump in there.
Yeah, go for it.
Whilst the point is hot.
I mean, I can always mute you, so it's fine.
No, not just that though. I'm just saying, Dirk. It's no longer just that. We now have multiple forces that have histories of. So are we going to see chains of sinos of them deciding which one they want to take behind the other?
If so, are they going to move themselves so far back that they aren't even in range to Doomsdayers as we're shooting the Keepstar?
I mean, I've said
Are
this
they not going to be
before,
in range to shoot the Keepstar at all?
Villy also promised me that his Komodo would be one of the very first ships on the battlefield.
That sounds like a juicy target.
I mean,
yeah, that's great.
I mean, we wouldn't. Yeah, obviously, in a super cap fight, he wouldn't target that thing. It would be
no. Obviously, we would never target Villy's Komodo. Like, that would be a silly move that wouldn't produce any morale victory at all or morale defeat at all. No, that's a really dumb move to target Villy's Komodo.
I think it would be a target to hold down, but to target it first when each DD counts for a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Each DD counts for a lot.
I can
Who
literally
do you think is going to be FCing their super cap?
I can literally imagine, like, Imperium Titans putting on passive targeters just to fuck him up.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh shit!
Like,
now
he's not
that's going to
targeting me,
happen.
guys, but I'm
For
fine.
fuck's sake, don't give him ideas.
That's brilliant. Didn't even get his hardeners on because he wasn't being targeted.
Didn't even call for reps because he didn't think he was being targeted.
I mean, this is making me think, is there enough spare high slots to genuinely fuck about and do this?
Yes.
Yes,
because the Titans don't have the...
It's a mid slot for the passive target, by the way. It's not a high slot.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we do is we jump in the armor Titans that have mid slots spare.
Wow, I mean, you say mid slot spares. Like, armor Titans these days are also shield and armor Titans.
Well, you say this, but, like, realistically, one mid slot
Doesn't
on
that
an armor
much.
titan isn't crazy.
No, it's true. It's true.
And
Hey,
if you're sniping out an enemy FP
creating the
straight
next
off
super
the bat,
capital meta right now, live on this show. Just saying.
you've got to love it, yeah.
I mean,
You know?
there is a side to be said that if people don't see it coming, they aren't going to be hitting certain modules that up their tank.
Well, I mean, the thing is that they'll probably be going. Well, I'm gonna be putting, like, they may not be overheating it, but they will have it like online.
You're
I
never going to overheat in a tie-dye fight. That's just asking for. That's asking for significant issues. Okay. Anyway,
It's been a while. It's been a while since I accidentally overheated.
Or whatever it is, right? Is
What,
that
thing that
actually
burns
still
out?
used?
No, it's possible. Like,
Because I mean, if they're fitting that, this is genuinely a point at which, okay, maybe it comes in useful to genuinely do.
the thing about the Capital Emergency Hull Energizer is the same thing that you, in terms of combating that, it's the same thing you do. It's the same process you follow when you're fighting a bunch of hacks or a bunch of assault frigates that have the ADCU. You target one, you target the next, you target the next, and then you cycle back to the first one because his ADCU or his Capital Emergency Hull Energizer is already dead.
Yes.
And they can't cycle it through. And that's just the strategy. It's how you go about it. So even if they do use these things, it's not as if it's a major deal. We just have to throw more Titans that have Doomsday cycles at the fight.
And if anything, the only time that you can actually remove that is if you dock up. And the sort of like the positives of being in a defensive stance for that is you could potentially, de-aggro if you're on the keep star that's being defended after you've cycled your EHE, dock up, swap it back out, and then undock again.
Also, I just want to, suggest that people in Twitch chat should not be using logic to refute the comments made on this show.
Because there's no logic involved from our side.
There's no place for logic here.
They will have spies in fleet, so they will know the target from comms or fleet broadcasts. Yes, of course they will, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't a fun idea to talk about. God damn it!
It was just us shooting from the hip. It's fucking fine. This
isn't a serious
show. This isn't a serious show. We just talk bullshit.
Don't crush my dreams with your logic.
It's the reason why we can do this show every single fucking week. It's because it has literally zero fucking prep time involved.
We are lucky if we manage.
Even from the sort of streaming sort of engineer side of things, half the time I do the actual stuff live anyway.
Welcome to. We had echo issues at the start of the stream.
Yeah,
exactly.
We spent the first 10 to 15 minutes of the show fixing the show.
Right?
Yeah, this entire thing is lucky if it gets 15 minutes worth of actual prep. But
I think it's fun. I enjoy it regardless. So that's why we do it.
It's more organic.
We did your
one of these things.
What was that?
We're going through this because obviously there may be still hangers around from when TIS jumped in and raided us. Thank you very much, by the way. And if you guys are new to the show or new to the sort of channel whatever from TIS, then that explanation is actually very fucking true about this particular show. But we like to have fun on this show.
Let's not suggest that TIS necessarily brings logic. We don't bring logic ourselves.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if people are wondering what's going on with this show.
Caleb suggested. And Caleb, you just need to be a bit realistic about logic being a thing that you can use or not use depending on the point you're trying to make. It's rhetoric, which Villy might actually want to consider at some point. But moving on. Sothersil, did we do your one last thing?
We didn't.
No.
On with Sothersil's one last thing.
I just saw an idea in Twitch chat, and I think that might actually be worth us picking it up. Caleb, when are we going to do a Q&A?
That depends a lot on the nature of the Q&A. What type of questions are you planning on asking me?
Who is asking the question?
All of them. I mean, you don't have to answer them. I mean,
your history of
Q&A.
FetLife, clearly.
No. Serious question. Where are we getting the questions from? Are we posting a call for questions on Twitter? Are we just answering? Right. Okay.
We have to wrap up a bit quickly. Wibbler, your last thing, maybe.
Oh, I have nothing in particular to bring up.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. We did
emergency hard cut.
We did Caleb's one last thing.
Caleb doesn't get one. He gets a whole Q&A.
No, that was a question. Like, did we do Caleb's one last thing? I don't remember.
Yes,
I think we did.
We did.
Wonderful.
AM
McLeod,
and
your one
PM.
last thing.
Yes. My one last thing was literally like this show is like literally like bullshitting around. So like, yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay, so my one last thing was going to talk or circle back a little bit to Villy's Sota earlier on today, in which he used a quote from 300, where he suggested that the collective Blue Donut Coalition are the Spartans that are being attacked by the Persian Empire. And
yes,
there was a thing in Twitch chat real quick from Delayel, just like Xerxes at Thermopylae, Villy's presence on the field will guarantee Persian victory. Yes, they are the Persians. He doesn't get to quote as if he's a Spartan being attacked in his own home, because like he just doesn't understand how the history has worked. And the way
it's like he watched that
work.
It's like he watched that fucking. It's like he watched that that film backwards somehow.
He possibly did. Because,
so
what is you? Literally, the quote was, "What is your profession?" And the context is that Leonidas asks this of the Spartans, and their response is that their profession is war. And that's simply not true on the current basis of how the war is going for Test. So if Villy wants to start using random historical quotes and media
I mean,
quotes more than historical quotes.
I wouldn't say like the film 300 is historical.
If he's going to phrase things in a historical context like that, he damn well better make sure that his context is at least somewhat accurate.
Can we cut Doug finally so people can go to the fucking fireside?
I'm done.
Yep, let's go. Fireside for you, Imperium guys. Let's go.
Also, meta show in just under an hour, so tune in then. Brisk and Mittens will be two lawyers arguing about a lot of things.
Yep. Let's go.
For the permit. I don't care if you buy a permit. Do you know how little I actually care if you have a permit?
Complaining about the fact that he received no support from that. I think Bode has some.
Yes, I do.
Some
oh, I got some leaks for you.
Like simple shit like that. Simple shit like that. If he can't answer that,
I need to break in because I need more original every week. That's a goal.
Do you really actually get paid for that? Because you deserve money for that last one. That one was a fun thing you said us.